Hey, this is Merrill with Bama Football on YouTube. Just wanted to shed some light on Ryan Grubb and what this offense might look like going forward. You know, Ryan is this high quality offensive coordinator that obviously Nick Saban wanted last season in 2023. He chose to stay at University of Washington, which was a lot of it due to his relationship with Kalen DeBoer. And again, I think that's what we see coming back into play is how important relationships are. We're going to see that this offseason with recruiting. We're going to see that with building this team going forward and the team coming together within the locker room to be a solid unit. I also think we're going to see that in the way Ryan's offense produces. And I am so excited to watch Alabama football in the way they play offense. You know, you look at the players around this program and who are in this program right now on the offensive side of the ball. And we're just starting there, right? Because we do have those players on defense who are absolutely amazing. They are fun to watch. They're exciting. And I do think this defense is going to be lights out. But on offense, I'm excited to watch them score 35, 40 plus points a game. I mean, that's truly something we should expect, right? Especially with the talent level and with what Grubb, Jamarcus Shepard, Gillespie, Scott Huff, and Kalen DeBoer bring to the table as offensive minds. And I think the exciting part too with Ryan is his ability to maximize talent of what the roster has. And we saw that University of Washington. There might not have been so much depth. They were also a very young team, but the depth just was not there. And a lot of people want to say, well, it's the Pac-12. And I understand. The Pac-12 maybe isn't comparable to the SEC. I don't know. Last year, those Pac-12 teams were pretty dang good. You know, okay, maybe there wasn't as much defense. Utah was still pretty good on defense. Oregon was still pretty good on defense. Arizona was still pretty good on defense. So, yeah, maybe it's not every single year quality as the SEC has. SEC has consistency, and they do. They play defense, and they got speed. And I think that is what's going to be most fun about watching Ryan Grubb come into the SEC and to most of all, the most, I would say, prominent, dominating university in the SEC based on history alone, at University of Alabama. First of all, too, is Ryan's mindset, I think, will be what's probably the one thing those players will really take in and want to just attach themselves to because of how exciting he is as a coach with his intensity, with his focus, but also his own work ethic. Interesting fact with this is Ryan actually, Grubb, comes from a pig farm. He was a pig farmer. His dad was a pig farmer. His grandpa was a pig farmer in Iowa. You know, and I talked about last time in a show, just a few days ago or so on Bama Football on YouTube, is I talked about a little bit about the history in some of these guys and where they've come from and what they're bringing to the table under Kalen DeBoer. And why you guys all should be excited as Alabama football fans for this team and for this new era. With Ryan Grubb, I did talk about him coming from the high school ranks. He did. He was a coach in high school. He started in high school. Year 3, he was the Class A District 8 Assistant Coach of the Year in Iowa. Pretty cool. I mean, the guy has just worked his way up the ranks. And there's actually a quote from him in the Seattle Times that said, "I have a deep passion for calling plays. For me, I do have a desire to be the best O coordinator in the country. That's a deep-stated belief in who I am and what I want to be." So this guy wants to be a badass offensive play caller. And he already is, right? But he's not just settling for, well, I've already done it. We made it to a national championship. You know, he wants to do it all the time. He wants to, there's a great saying within, or a great, I guess, quote within an article I read that was talking about farming. And Ryan Grubb talks about farming. And he says, Farming is not overnight. Farming, it takes time, right? And you got to put in work and effort to see your crops produce. What's going to be cool about this scenario is that somebody's already done a lot of tilling and they've planted a lot of seeds, and Ryan now just has to come in and take care of it and build it up kind of the way he wants to, because the foundation, the house is built, right? The farm has been put together. Now he just has to kind of remodel, right? And just make it look kind of a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, just a little more organized, and most of all, just kind of do what he wants. He took over the farm and now he's running it himself, and he's excited, and he's taken over such a massive talent, and we can all thank Nick Saban for that. You know, with Nick too, we look at the discipline he instilled, and that's foundational, right? And that is stuck within the culture of Alabama. That toughness and discipline will never leave University of Alabama. And we can thank Nick for the long term that he did, but we can also thank Bear Bryant, right? And we can thank Gene Stallings, and we can thank Frank Thomas before all of them. And that culture in Alabama, especially in Alabama football, has been around for a long time. It's in the fans, it's in the players, it's in the coaches, it's in the state of Alabama and the people. And I think that's what's exciting too, looking at Ryan Grubb and going back to that, is he brings that same sort of mentality into this offense. And now he's given these weapons of mass destruction to run this offense in. And this offense is explosive. It's fun to watch. There's so many things. But also, what's unique with this offense is that, you know, it's very much focused on efficiency. And he will very much be that coach that focuses on the details, one step at a time, and making sure these players understand it, and making sure that he's able to communicate and work with them and break it down so that each player does understand it, because everyone comes from different learning styles. And with that offense being as efficient as it will be, you will see mass explosiveness, because it has the ability of that nuclear bomb. It's all right there. That core is ready. Now it's just a matter of having the right coach, who is Ryan Grubb, to expose it, to put it into the right form, to mold it how he wants. And when he presses the trigger, it's going to boom. And the whole SEC is going to know. And it's going to be exciting. Ryan Grubb, he is wide open. And because, you know, everyone's going to come to eat. Might as well just call it Grubhub, because everybody's going to eat in that offense. You look at the wide receiver room and what they're bringing in from freshmen just coming on the campus. So exciting. I mean, with Ryan Williams committing, you got Rico Scott, you got Amari Jefferson. I mean, there's some serious talent, but you already got guys who are there too. I mean, with Jalen Hale, with Kendrick Law, with Kobe Prentice. I mean, and we're not even touching the surface. There's this bunch of names that I'm missing, and that's only because they got so much time. But then you watch the progression, what you'll see in Milrow. And he's going to be pushed, which will be awesome and fun to watch. You'll see it in spring ball, and then you'll see it in the fall camp. And with them, what you'll see is they will develop and work, but also what comes after all that, right? In the product you see on the field. And it's going to be something we, as fans, whether you're an Alabama fan or just like college football or love college football, such as myself, I love Alabama, but I also love college football. I love watching good football. And I think we're going to see that, and you're going to see people tune in. I mean, you look at the nation of Alabama fans. It's 4.1 million fans. And I guarantee you, after this next season, when we watch Ryan Grubb's offense step onto the field and play this style of offense that is exciting and with the talent that Alabama has, and truly just assassinate defenses. I mean, step by step, we are going to see a whole new style of taking elite athletes and putting them into a system that lets them just go off. As I said, it's Grubhub, because they're all about to eat. And the next part of that too is that running back room. That running back room, for a lot of people who think that this air raid offense is just going to take away from maybe the power style of running that Alabama does have, so wrong. You know, Dylan Johnson steps into a role coming out of the SEC as a role as a halfback in running back at University of Washington. You know, he was hurt a good chunk of that season too. And what's exciting about that is Dylan Johnson ran for almost 1,200 yards. And he didn't even play the full games. You want to talk about, and there was a running back by committee in the end. I mean, you had Tybo Rogers, Rogers, I think his name is, but he was also another running back who was in there. And you had Will Nixon. He's the third running back who was in there, taking reps. So Dylan Johnson wasn't just fully exclusive. And we're going to see that again. And what's exciting is you get to see Richard Young really pop out, right? You get to see Jam Miller get back to being Jam Miller. And then Justice Haynes, you know, who I think finally has a chance to really show his true self in an offense like this. And then below that, you got two freshmen coming in who are ready to work, you know, with Daniel Hill and Kevin Riley. So this whole offense is just on the verge of exploding into something great. Something so fun to watch that all of college football will take notice. And I think it's going to scare the hell out of some teams in the SEC, I'll tell you that. But, like I said, the Grub Hub is open. All right. Roll Tide. Thank you guys.